Mother's Day. At that time, I wonder if there was a day called Mother-in-Law Day. So I got on the internet and looked to see if there was. And there is. You guys know what day it is? Well, it's the fourth Sunday of October. So this year it's going to be October 24th, the Mother-in-Law Day. Now, you might wonder, why am I talking about mother-in-laws? I'm not even married. And some of you might be thinking, well, he's a lucky guy, you don't have a mother-in-law. Now, if you get on the internet, there's lots of jokes about mother-in-laws. So I'm going to give you one just for example. There was this man and his wife and his mother-in-law went to the Holy Lands. While they was there, his mother-in-law died. So the couple went to the undertaker, and the undertaker said, well, we can ship her back to the United States for $5,000, or we can bury her here for $150. So the couple thought about it, or the man actually thought about it, and he said, well, we're going to ship her back to the United States. The undertaker said, well, we can do a good job here for $150. The man said, well, 2,000 years ago, the man was buried here. He arose in 3 days. I don't want to take that chance.
That's a good one.
All right, so we are going to talk about a special mother-in-law today. It's in the Bible. Does anybody know who she is? Okay, I'll give you a hint. Ruth's mother-in-law. Not this Ruth. But Ruth, mother-in-law. Do we know what her name is? Naomi. All right. So if you please turn the book of Ruth. And there's only 4 chapters. And we're going to go through all 4 of them. Some quicker than others. So we're going to start with verse 1. Give you a background of what it's all about. Chapter 1, Ruth. In the days when the judges ruled, there was a famine in the land, and a man from Bethlehem in Judah, together with his wife and 2 sons, went to live for a while in the country of Moab. The man's name was Elimelech, and his wife's name Naomi. And the names of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion. There were Ephrathites from Bethlehem, Judah, and they went to Moab and lived there. Now Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left with 2 of her sons. They married Moabite women, one Orpah and the other Ruth. After they lived there for about 10 years, both Mahlon and Chilion also died, and Naomi was left here with her 2 sons. When she heard in Moab that the Lord had come to the aid of his people, providing food for them, Naomi and her daughter-in-laws prepared to return home from there. With her 2 daughter-in-laws, she left the place where she and her lived, set out on the road that would take them back to the land of Judah. So what we have here is a man and woman and their 2 sons leaving Bethlehem, where there was a famine. Now, something like this ain't what you call unusual. Even today, people do this when they want to better their lives or find a better job. They go to a different city, state, or country. And that's what this couple did. But unfortunately, shortly after they got there, the father had passed away. In that time, afterwards, the 2 sons married Moabite women. And 10 years later, the men also died, the 2 sons. So Naomi heard that things would get better in Judah, so she packed up her stuff and her 2 daughter-in-laws, and they headed back to Jerusalem. Now let's move on down the chapter here, verses 8. Then Naomi said to her 2 daughter-in-laws, go back, each of you, to your mother's home. May the Lord show kindness to you as you have shown to your dead to me. May the Lord grant that each of you will find rest in the home of another husband. Then she kissed him, and they wept loudly. And her, we will go back with you to your people. But Naomi said, return home, my daughters. Why would you come to me? I will not have any more sons who could become your husbands. Return home, my daughters. I am too old to have another husband. Even if I thought there was still hope for me, even if I had a husband tonight, and then give birth to the sons, would you wait until they grew up? Would you remain unmarried to them? No, my daughters, it is more bitter for me than for you, because the Lord's hand has gone out of me. At that, this wept again. Then Orpah kissed her mother-in-law goodbye, but Ruth clung onto her. Look, said Naomi, your sister-in-law is going back to her people and her gods. Go back with her. But Ruth replied, don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will go. Your people will be my people, and your God be my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me even so severely, if even anything but death separates you and me. When Naomi realized that Ruth was determined to go with her, she stopped urging her. Okay, so basically the three women was headed for Jerusalem, and Naomi kind of felt bad that she wasn't going to have any more children to give to these ladies, so she urged them to go back home to their own homeland. They both really didn't want to, but Orpah finally gave in, and she went back to her homeland. But Ruth, on the other hand, wanted to stay with Naomi, and she said, your people will be my people, and that we'll be together forever till death do us part. So they headed on. She didn't urge her to go away, so Ruth stayed with her till they got to Bethlehem. Now, we'll go on to chapter 2 right quick. It says, now Naomi had a relative on her husband's side from the clan of Elimelech, a man standing whose name was Boaz. And Ruth the Moabite said to Naomi, let go to the fields and pick up the leftover grain behind anyone to whom eyes I have found favor. Naomi said to her, go ahead, my daughters. So she went and began to glean in the fields behind the harvesters. As it turned out, she found herself working in a field belonging to Boaz, who was from the clan of Elimelech. So they got to Bethlehem, and of course they needed to find jobs or find food or something like that. So Naomi encouraged Ruth to go out and see what she could find. And she actually went to a field where a relative of Naomi's, which was Elimelech's relation, to glean the fields there, to follow the gleaners to pick up the leftovers, basically. So, okay, let's drop down to verse 8. And drop down, 8. And it says, so Boaz said to Ruth, my daughter, listen to me. Don't go gleaning in another field. Don't go away from here. Stay here with the servants' girl. Watch the fields where the men are harvesting, and follow along after the girls. I have told the men not to touch you, and wherever you go and thirsty, go get a drink from the water jars from the have filled. At this, she bowed down and with her face to the ground. She exclaimed, why have I found such favor in your eyes? You notice me as a foreigner. Boaz replied, I have been told all about what you have done for the mother-in-law since the death of your husband, how you left your father and mother and your homeland and came to live with the people you did not know before. May the Lord pay you for what you have done. May you be richly rewarded by the Lord and the God of Israel, under whose wings you have found refuge. May I continue to find favor in your eyes, may the Lord, and say you have given me the comfort to have spoken kindly to your servant, so I have not been standing of one of your servant girls. So Boaz found that talked to Ruth, and Ruth asked, "How come you're so good to me?" And basically, he said, "Well, I have heard what you have done for your mother-in-law, and kind of replacingly rewarding for you doing that." And he asked her to stay in his fields so that she would be safe. So that's what she did. Over to verse 17. So Ruth gleaned in his fields until evening. Then she threshed the barley, and she had gathered. It amounted to about an ephah. She carried it back to her town, and her mother-in-law saw how much she had gathered. Ruth also brought out and gave her what she had left over after she had eaten enough. Her mother-in-law asked her, "Where did you glean today? Where did you work? Blessed be the man who took notice of you." Then Ruth told her mother-in-law about one of the places where she had been working. "The name of the man I worked for today was Boaz," she said. "The Lord blessings," Naomi said to her daughters-in-law. "He has not stopped showing his kindness to the living and the dead," she added. "That man in our close related is the one of our kinsman redeemer." Then Ruth and Moabite said, "He even said to me, 'Stay with my workers until my finished harvest is all grain.'" Naomi said to Ruth, her daughter-in-law, "It will be good for you, my daughter, to go with his girl, because if in someone else's field you may be harmed." So Ruth stayed close to the servant girls of Boaz till the gleaning and the barley wheat were finished, and she lived with her mother-in-law. So once again, Naomi encouraged her to stay with Boaz, just simply because it would be safe for her to do so. And I think she kind of thought maybe Boaz would be a good husband for her eventually. So that's what she did. Now in chapter 3, we're just going to skip chapter 3, but basically chapter 3 is about Boaz and Ruth getting to know each other better, and they decided that maybe they're meant for one another, so we just got to know each other a little better throughout the chapter 3. Chapter 4, we're going down to verse 9. It says, "Then Boaz announced to the elders and all the people, 'Today you are witnesses I have bought from Naomi all the property of Elimelech, Chilion, and Mahlon. I have also acquired Ruth, the Moabite, Mahlon's widow, as my wife, in order to maintain the name of the dead with his property, so that his name will not disappear from his family or from his town records. Today you are witnesses.' Then the elders and all those at the gate said, 'We are witnesses. May the Lord make the woman who is coming into your home like Rachel and Leah, who together build up your house of Israel. May you have standing in Ephraim and the famous Bethlehem. Through the offspring of the Lord, you may, by this, your woman, may your family be like Perez, whom Tamar bore to Judah.'" Okay. So Boaz took Ruth, and she became his wife. Then he went to her, and the Lord enabled her to conceive, and she gave birth to a son. The women said to Naomi, "Praise be to the Lord, who this day has not left you without a kinsman redeemer. May he be famous throughout Israel. He will renew your life and sustain you from your old age. For your daughter-in-law, who loves you and who is better to you than 7 sons, has given him birth." Then Naomi took the child, laid him in her lap, and cared for him. So, without the special bond between Naomi and Ruth, the encouragement that she gave her, and Naomi gave to Ruth to spend time with Boaz, we might not have Jesus Christ as we know today. To verify this, that Ruth was part of the lineage Abraham to Jesus' time. Please turn to Matthew chapter 1. Matthew chapter 1, the first 3 verses. Please forgive me for not necessarily saying these words right, names. It says, a record of the genealogy of Jesus Christ, the son of David, the son of Abraham. Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac the father of Jacob, Jacob the father of Judah, and his brothers. Judah the father of Perez and Zerah, whose mother was Tamar. Perez the father of Hezron, and Hezron of Ram. Now let's skip on down to verse 5. It says, Solomon the father of Boaz, whose mother was Rahab. Boaz the father of Obed, whose mother was Ruth. Obed the father of Jesse, and Jesse the father of King David. Now we skip on down to verse 16. You read all those names on your own. Good luck of that. And Jacob, the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, who was born of Jesus, who is called Christ. Thus, there was 14 generations of all from the Abraham to David, 14 from the David to exile to Babylon, and 14 from the exile to Christ. So, like I said earlier, it wasn't for Naomi encouraging Ruth to seek Boaz, you might not know Jesus Christ as he is today. I'd like to end this thought with this. Be nice to your mother-in-law. After all, she is your spouse's mother. And remember this, men. Happy wife, happy life.
Amen.